We are following breaking news here on HQ. Yankees right-hander Luis Severino expected to miss the upcoming season due to Tommy John surgery. He was expected, of course, to be the #2 starter behind ace Garrett Cole, who the Yankees just acquired at the end of last year. Severino shut down after reportedly feeling soreness in his forearm, an issue that's been going on for him for quite some time. He signed a 4-year, $40 million extension with the Yankees last year. Taking a look at his injury history, it is a little extensive there. You see, starting back in May of 2016, he had tricep inflammation. March of 2019, rotator cuff inflammation. In April of 2019, did not, from that point on, play in many games, 12 innings to be exact. All right, so let's bring in our David Sampson to talk about this breaking news with Luis Severino. First of all, let's talk about what it means for the Yankees, first and foremost.
So they signed Cole to be the top of the rotation. He's a true number ace. They had a problem with Severino. He only pitched 12 innings last season. They did want him to try to be a #2 starter, moving Tanaka to the 3 and Paxton to the 4. Well, now Paxton's hurt, probably out till June 1st, though they're saying he's coming back faster than they expected. There's going to be meaningful innings by Montgomery. Tanaka's going to have to prove to be a #2 starter. As I see this for the Yankees, the possibility of winning the pennant to me stays the same, but it's going to be tougher for them to get through October. You really do need a 1-2 punch, 2 co-aces if you want to get far or win a World Series. So Brian Cashman right now is thinking to himself, do I finally maybe have to trade Andujar? Do I have to trade a position player to acquire another starter?
All right, a lot of information you just gave us there, so we're going to break it up a little bit. Let's start off with, they said that he's going to get this surgery, this Tommy John surgery, as soon as possible. And you said, let me explain what that means. What does it mean?
So when the call comes in, you get an opinion that says Tommy John. We're deciding right now with the team doctors where he's going to get it. He's either going to go to Elatraj, he's going to go to Andrews. It's going to be in Jacksonville, Alabama, or California. We are talking to Severino's agent, and we're making that decision immediately. It's not like a normal person who has to get on a schedule, and there's only surgery the 3rd Wednesday of the month, and then we're 7th in line on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. We will get in as a major league team with a major league player when we are ready, and it's got to be now. What bothers me, Amanda, is this. We knew it was coming. Forearm soreness. They wasted 5 months by having him not get Tommy John last season when he could have done it, and he would have almost been back already. And now, out of his 4-year deal, he's going to end up missing 2.5 to 3 years of it.
Yeah, so that's my question for you. Is it they should have done this sooner? Should he have come back for that appearance in the postseason? When should the Yankees have had him get this surgery?
So Jim Bowden is going to roll his eyes, but this is where I would argue with GMs all the time. I don't want to go through the process of being conservative because I know it never works. Once in a while, you're going to say, David, Jim will say, it can work sometimes. You're right, Jim, once in a while. My view is bite the bullet. The forearm soreness, the issue that happens 95 out of 100 times requires Tommy John. We just wasted the off-season months on a prayer that Severino would not need it, and now it's done. We're done.
You're done.
I'm angry.
I mean, you talked about it, and you're okay. Well,
I'm upset. I'm not a Yankee guy, and I'm angry because of wasted time, and I know what the Yankee players are thinking. I know what the Yankee fans are thinking. I know what the Yankee ownership is thinking. They gave him this money, and he has not been able to perform.
Do they go after another starter? What do you do to fill this void now?
Important, and this is something Jim Bowden can talk about. You never want to make a trade when you feel as though other teams want to take advantage of your desperation, because then you will lose the trade. The Yankees should not go out and make a trade right now. Not necessary. Let it wait, see what's going on at the deadline. But for me, for them to win a ring, they're going to need to add another starter. That pitching lineup right there, and even put Paxton in that we're showing right now with Tanaka, Lois Siga, Happ, and Montgomery. That is not ring-worthy, Amanda.
Okay, you said that you're not changing your opinion on the pennant, on the rings necessarily. So is it just filling that void to get there? What else do the Yankees need to do overall big picture here?
Just breathe. They've got the depth right now, right? Just breathe, keep calm, and carry on. There's going to be injuries. They're saying, my God, what more can happen? What more can happen? They've got a great lineup. They have an ace at the top of their rotation. They're going to win the American League East. They're going to get to October, but they got to start thinking about more pitching to get through October.
And welcome back to HQ. We are following breaking news this afternoon. Yankees right-hander Luis Severino expected to miss the upcoming season due to Tommy John surgery. Yankees GM Brian Cashman confirming that news, saying Luis Severino is going to get it as soon as possible. He was sidelined a couple days ago because of forearm soreness. Severino expected to be the number 2 starter behind ace Garrett Cole, who, of course, the Yankees just acquired at the end of last year. Severino signed a 4-year, $40 million extension with the Yankees at the end of last spring training. However, only pitched 12 innings because of injuries. So let's bring in our Jim Bowden to talk about this. Jim, just your first reaction. What does this mean for the Yankees?
Well, obviously, very disappointing for the Yankees. Would have been a lot better if they had known about this, but they had done tests in the offseason, and they said the ulnar collateral ligament was fine. So I'm not sure if this is an acute injury that happened on one of his throws this spring or not, but that's going to be interesting when the Yankees tell us the comparison of the ligament today compared to then. In terms of the team, they're going to get James Paxton back in May from the back injury. Domingo Germán will come off the suspended list in June. So those will be 2 of the key starters to join Tanaka, Happ, Montgomery, and, of course, Garrett Cole in the rotation. So the Yankees have enough depth right now in this rotation. I talked to Aaron Boone the other day. He said he sees Jonathan Loaizaga and Luis Sessa more as bullpen guys. He says to really keep an eye on Michael King and David Hale as possibilities for that 5th starter spot. But one thing we do know, Jordan Montgomery's been a really positive pitcher in camp so far. His velocity is up 3 to 4 miles an hour from what they've seen before. So he should be solid in replacing him. And I don't think there's any doubt they're not going to go to the trade market right now. They're going to go with what they have. But keep in mind, Brian Cashman's an aggressive GM. He'll be on the phone with the Marlins about Caleb Smith. He'll be on the phone with the Tigers on Matt Boyd. He'll start the process now. I don't think he'll see any urgency to trade for a starter, but knowing Brian, he'll get his prep done early in the season in case he needs to make a trade as he gets near the deadline.
I was about to say, once the season begins, when does it become urgent to find another starter for the Yankees if this isn't working out?
You know, I think they want what they have in-house to work out. I mean, they paid Happ. They decided not to trade him. And as I said, James Paxton comes back in May. He's the number 2 starter behind Cole and ahead of Tanaka. And then in June, remember, Domingo Germán won 15 games for them last year. So he'll be back. So they feel like they have the depth in-house to not have to make a move. And by the way, they also told me they think their pitching depth, 15 to 30, is the best they've had it in 5 years. So again, they feel good with what they have. But the setback of losing Severino is just devastating. I mean, think of this. They signed him a year ago, 4 years, $40 million. He pitched 12 innings in 2019. He'll pitch 0 innings this year. He's going to miss half of 21 because after Tommy John, it's a 15-month process to get back. And then you're going to have 1 year left, and they've got to pay him $31.25 million between now and the end of the contract. So a complete disaster from a business perspective for the Yankees.
We had David Sampson on here just a minute ago, and he said, you know what, I'm furious at the Yankees. I'm very angry with them. They should have done this earlier. They should have seen this coming. They should have not brought back Severino for that game in the postseason there. What do you say? Should this have been earlier? Should he have gotten the surgery earlier?
Well, we're told by Brian Cashman that, remember that playoff game, his elbow was biting and it was hurting. And according to Brian Cashman, they did MRIs and a CAT scan on this elbow during the offseason twice. And the results came back negative. So again, I mean, I agree with David Sampson. If in fact there was a tape that was significant, better to do it immediately than waiting and then losing a year and a half. Because had they done it at the end of the year, you would have only missed this year without getting into 2021. Now you're going to miss part of 21. But again, without us having access because of HIPAA laws to seeing the actual elbow ligament during the test that they took in the offseason, it's really tough to say if it was recommended then or if this is an acute injury that occurred this spring. Again, only the Yankees and Luis Severino will be able to answer those questions for us.
All right. Well, viewers can see it there on screen that the Yankees are the favorites to win the AL East. Does this change that?
Does not change it for me. The Yankees have the best team in the American League, and they're heading on a course to play the Dodgers in the World Series if we get the 2 best teams in the World Series. There's no doubt in my mind. And the injury to Luis Severino doesn't change it. Remember, we just talked about he pitched 12 innings last year. They won 103 games. They don't need Luis Severino. It would be nice to have a number 2 starter of that level behind Cole. It would have been a luxury, but they proved last year they don't need it. Garrett Cole will more than pick up the slack. And again, the way Jordan Montgomery's pitching, the way Domingo Germán came on last year, I think the Yankees are fine. I think they're the best team in the American League.
All right, our Jim Bowden, thank you so much for hopping on with us for this breaking news. Luis Severino out for the next season, or the upcoming season, I should say, getting Tommy John surgery.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.